C clauses are if-then clauses. One clause states a condition or possibility, and the other clause names a result. There are two rules for a C clause. One, there is no word for then in French. And two, the clauses can be in either order. For example, si j'ai faim, je mangerai. This means if I am hungry, I will eat. On the other hand, you can also say it as je mangerai si j'ai faim. This means I will eat if I am hungry. There are two main tense pairs that we will be covering this unit. The first is present to future. An example of this is s'il y a un examen demain, j'étudierai, meaning if there is an exam tomorrow, I will study. Another example is je ferai mes devoirs si mon prof me les donne. This means I will do my homework if my teacher gives me some. The second tense pair is the imparfait conditionnel. An example of this is s'il n'avait le temps, il ne le ferait. This means if he did not have the time, he would not do it. The second example is il me donnerait les choses si je le demandais. He would give me the thing if I was asking for it.
Now for everybody's favorite tense, the subjunctive. Subjunctive is so hard for French students to grasp because we just don't use it much in English. We use the subjunctive in certain situations known as weirdos. Weirdos is an acronym we'll cover in the next slide. The best example of the subjunctive in English is the phrase, I wish you were here. The verb were is in the subjunctive. It may seem strange if you think about it because were is typically used in the past tense, but this situation technically demands the use of the subjunctive. So let's look at when we use subjunctive in French. To do this, we just have to consult weirdos. Weirdos stands for wishes, such as je veux que, emotions, such as je suis triste que, impersonal expressions like il faut que or il est nécessaire que, requests like je demande que, doubts like je doute que, and opinions in the superlative, which aren't used as much. The general formula for using the subjunctive is the first subject plus your weirdo's verb plus que plus the second subject and then your subjunctive verb. It is absolutely necessary that you have two subjects and que in between, otherwise you don't use subjunctive. Watch out for this because it shows up all the time on tests and quizzes. So how do you actually conjugate a verb in the subjunctive? It's fairly simple. First you conjugate the verb in the il pluriel form. Then you subtract the ent ending and add one of these endings. You'll notice that these are very similar to the endings used in the present tense er verbs, with the exception of the nu and vous forms, which more closely resemble imparfait. Like everything in French, there are exceptions. Make sure you learn how to conjugate être and avoir in the subjunctive. These conjugations are pretty weird, so you just have to memorize them. Okay, so let's look at some examples of the subjunctive. First example, je suis heureux qu'il gagne, is an example of the emotion, or E, of weirdos. As you can see, we have our emotion, which is je suis heureux, I am happy. We have our two subjects, je and il, and the que in between them, which in this case is abbreviated. In English, the sentence translates to I am happy that he is winning. The second example, ma mère doute que j'étudie pour l'examen, is an example of the doubt, or D, of weirdos. As you can see, we have our two subjects and the que in between them. In English, this sentence roughly means, my mother doubts that I am studying for the test. So there you have it, C clauses and the subjunctive tense. Two very technical but very important subjects in French. Make sure you learn them well, because they'll show up on many tests and quizzes in your future. Thanks for watching.